Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature. And today we're going to be taking a look at a model that I have been having the pleasure of trying to print for the last few days. And that is Ulununkhuhu, if I am saying that name correctly, from Bestiarum Miniatures. Now, it shouldn't come as any surprise to you. I've been a big fan of Bestiarum for quite some time now. And when I saw their latest model, I just could not help myself. They had a release of nothing but lizard-themed baddies. So, Ulununkhuhu was the Ancient One, according to the lore of the, what would they call, the Sekhaton tribe or something like that. They even got one of the tribesmen here. Nice-looking lizards for the most part. I still don't know if that's a print fail or if it's supposed to look like that, but they are really grimy, gritty lizards. And they're big too, in case you're curious. Probably big enough to be a Croxagore, but that's not the point. We'll look at Croxagore type stuff later with these guys. So what I dug about this was, a while back, Alexei, the main sculptor for Bestiarum, had done a big, giant, dragon-like demon for Zillet miniatures. And this thing really gave me shades of that. And I know there's only 3 pieces here. There's actually 11, and they're all absolutely massive. But he's got these twin tails with, like, undead Shin Godzilla faces coming off of them, which I thought was a fun look as I'm trying to find all the parts for it. Unfortunately, I had a bit of an error for some reason right here on his horn. I'm debating whether I just roll with it. I mean, it is intact for the most part, or is at least intact as this guy is going to be. Where is your torso, man? I've got like a box of parts here I'm trying to pull everything out of. He also had a big set of wings. Get the lizard out of the way there. Slowly but surely, we are acquiring all your parts, and there should be another tail head. Big, massive sword with extra arm attached to it. Another wing. How are we doing here? Base to pose him on. I guess this is one criticism I've heard people levy at Bestiarum stuff, is they've got very unique base designs. They're not your usual squares or circles. Then again, I mean, nothing's stopping you from mounting that on a square or circle of appropriate size, but it's going to be big, so just be aware of that. Where is the top part of your torso, my friend? Well, here is another of his tail heads. There we go. Finally found the part we're looking for. I think that's just about everything. Here is the torso, and the torso is a fun little piece as it's got all kinds of embedded skulls all throughout the upper part of it. It's got like just loops of muscle. I don't know if it's growing on or coming off. There's bits of skin that's still stuck to the body, and you have these extra limbs coming out. I almost wonder if it's supposed to be like he's shedding an old skin, maybe? It's hard to say. Exposed rib cages, and it is hollow, so rejoice in saving a bit of resin. So you can see here, I haven't even put it together yet, but it's going to be quite large when all is said and done, as he just collapses in a heap in front of us. Yes, there's our usual Inquisitor friend here. And he makes a good stepping stool. So yeah, I am going to attempt to get all of this put together. It looks like, for the most part, everything is pretty smooth and seamless. I'm probably not going to glue him onto the base yet, but I think, considering just the thinness of the parts, I don't think that's going to be a big impediment in terms of getting everything painted in the end. And funny enough, for as large and as many pieces as this was, it took literally an entire week to finish printing him, just because of the layout of all of the supports for this guy. Thankfully, other than that little weird wiggle on the head, and it wasn't the only part that was getting printed at the time, which is even weirder why that happened. For the most part, like, all of these tail pieces, the wings, everything had to be printed individually one at a time, and they had so many supports, but they came off quite flawlessly. I do got to say, I love this water washable resin. It's been really good for that. And durable as all heck. So, give me a moment, we will get this bad boy all glued together, and we'll see how things turn out. Alright, well, we did it. We got Ulununkhuhu, if I'm saying his name correctly, all put together, and I don't even know if I can fit him on the screen. He is just stupidly big. I mean, massive. Massive. So, one of the interesting things, obviously, is that he's not, you know, fully formed, in that his body is quite anemic and decaying. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be coming back to life, or if he is, you know, having his body regrow. It's hard to say. And I'm not 100% sure how he's actually supposed to go onto this base. My first thought is, obviously, his left foot is going to sit atop this little pedestal, and then I'm thinking this one probably is supposed to go onto the other spot, because then the tails are not falling on the ground, but I kind of have him perched like that, and I guess it works okay. Like, you can't even see his wings. I mean, that's crazy. Whee! I guess my only real criticism is the fact that, number one, I have his horn messed up, which is entirely on me. And number two is he's got such a goofy base in terms of how the dimensions of it are. I have no idea. I'd like to mount that on something. And that's been kind of the case, I guess, in kind of Bestiarum's unique little trademark, in that, you know, all their bases are very unique for the most part. Except for this dude. Why did this lizard man of the Sekhaton tribe get his own special base that's actually round? These guys are fun. They are going to be very fun to paint. My wife said it looked like a chocolate chip cookie. He gets a cookie cutter base. He's a big lizard, though. I can move Ulununkhuhu a little bit out of the way here. Not as big as a Croxagore per se, but, you know, you could probably get away with using him as one. And then with one of the other more basic lizards. Did I show these and I've already forgotten? I guess worst case scenario, I could go ahead and just stick them on those bases. I guess if you wanted to pump up the size of them a little bit, they could match up with like the Lost Sword guys. No, Lost Kingdom. Last Sword, Lost Kingdom, and they both done lizards. That's a Lost Kingdom one, though. But the Bestiarum stuff, I think, definitely has its own very distinct, unique, grimdark look that I can't really think anybody else is even attempting to try, and I think more power to it. These guys are knocking it out of the park with their releases. Very unique stuff, and I mean, I'll just keep on posting and picking up their figures. If you want giant figures that don't fit on the screen like mine right here, I mean, this is like Imperial Knight size. Can I pick up my knight without knocking over a million things? Let's find out. Yeah. So that's how big this is. If you wanted a fun Mortarch or Greater Exalted Demon, or you wanted a Nagash proxy, or if you're playing like Kings of War and you just need some kind of crazy big bad, I really don't think you can go wrong with, well, anything from Bestiarum, really. But this guy especially. And they just keep growing and growing. It's funny how, you know, even this doesn't really deter me in terms of the size of models that I'm printing these days. It used to be like, oh my god, I've never printed something so big. But I mean, I just, like, you know, finished this thing up. So, that's from Titan Forge, but still just as big. And Ulununkhuhu here is even bigger. So, with that, yeah. Still reminds me of the one that he did for Zealot. But it is substantially different. One of these days I'm going to get that dragon guy too. So yeah, if you're interested, I'll put a link down below for Bestiarum stuff. And as always, if you're watching this video after the fact, there's always something new and interesting. So if you've got access to a printer, do check it out. And I'm sure there's people out there on Etsy and whatnot. And if anybody has any recommendations, by all means, let us know, because I am not printing it for you. It's mine, all mine. Ha ha ha. with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.